All right, let's get started. So Isabel's been sending a link to the program, which the MIT department made. So thank you, Isabel, for doing that. If you can just spam it a couple more times, once or twice, that'd be great. Thank you all so much for showing up today. Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? Okay, awesome, great. So thank you all for showing up. My name is Nanette, and this is Claire Nanette, and we're both super excited to perform a subset of the recital that got canceled a couple weeks ago due to COVID-19. As many of you know, I've been talking about this performance for freaking ever, and it's because it holds a very special place in my heart. I've been part of the Emerson Scholarship Program for 4 years now, and they've generously sponsored me to continue taking private lessons throughout college. And this recital was going to be the culmination of all of that. While some, smart seniors in CS or MECI want to write their thesis, I actually wanted this senior recital to be my capstone project because it encapsulates everything I've done musically at MIT. Now, some of you might be thinking, what else is there to clarinet music besides Beethoven and Mozart? Well, let me tell you, from the very first music class I took in world music, all the way to this wacky, amazing world of contemporary music that I started studying a couple years ago, I can confidently say that there's way more to clarinet music than just a bunch of famous dead dudes. And the four pieces I'm about to perform briefly touch on that. So obviously you guys made it to Zoom, and the reason I chose this was so that I can see my audience. I recommend that you listen at about 50 to 75% volume. If you want me to see you, please leave your video on because that's the whole point of this thing. I already pre-recorded it and I could just stream it to you if I didn't want to see your faces. So please do so if you want to. And this is a casual performance, so use fun Zoom backgrounds. Please use a chat if you want to, just don't spam it when I'm playing. And I'm going to stop between each piece to briefly introduce the next one. And I want this to be interactive, so please use it. Yes, thanks, Julia. Yeah, and if anything goes wrong, feel free to unmute yourself and just stop me and I'll restart one more time because I'm definitely anticipating some technical stuff to go wrong. Now, on to the recital. So the opener is perhaps the most special and unique piece on the program. It's composed by an MIT professor. He's a fellow clarinetist and bass clarinetist and has been a huge supporter and inspiration for me throughout my college career. His name is Evan Zaporin, and he's actually on the call today. Evan has been there at every step of my music career. Yeah, he's waving, I think, but he's very small. During my freshman year, Evan taught that very first music class I took in world music, and the first listening assignment we had has this piece I'm performing today. Now in senior year, I'm taking my last music class with him as he became the conductor of the MIT Symphony Orchestra, and we did this weird piece where the entire orchestra improvised together, and that's something we call a sonic meditation. So it's very fitting for me to open the recital with one of his pieces that combines both world music and sonic meditation, called Honshirabe. Now, fun fact, this piece was released on an album that's titled This Is Not a Clarinet, because it's not intended for clarinet. It's for the shakuhachi, which is a Japanese wooden flute, and we're trying to keep it that way. So enough of me talking. Thank you, Evan, for being an amazing mentor, teacher, conductor, composer. This piece has so many deeper meanings I could go on forever about, but here's Honshirabe by Evan Zaporin. So yeah, that was Evan's piece. Thank you so much for letting me perform it again. And not to put you on the spot, Evan,
That's
but
fine.
roles reversed from Orchestra Zoom. If you want to say something, feel free to chime in now.
That sounded really beautiful. It reminded me of me.
Thanks.
That was a great performance. Bravo.
Thank you, Evan.
And you've been a fantastic student, and I'm not going to embarrass you anymore.
Okay,
It was so much
thanks.
fun.
Thank you, Evan. Okay, cool. So that was the world music side of things. We're gonna pivot and dive right into what most of you guys think of when you hear the words classical music. The next piece is titled Solo de Concours, which means contest solo in French. It was written as a Paris Conservatory contest piece in 1899, so it's flashy, it's playful, and it really just explains itself. The piano accompaniment you're about to hear was downloaded off of YouTube, so thank you to whoever let me do that. But with that, here's Solo de Concours by Messa J. Thank you. Thank you to the many aged people who like this solo. Thank you very much. um, yeah, so that was a whirlwind. I'm definitely not sweating. Um, but yeah, we're gonna pivot a whole new direction now, away from this beautiful, beautiful tonal music into the world of contemporary music. So the first of these two modern pieces is by German composer Paul Hindemith. And Hindemith, a lot of people weren't the biggest fans of him. His music was deemed degenerate, and people said it sounded like an atonal noisemaker, but Hindemith really just wanted to deviate from the norm. He had enough of that like vanilla tonal music like what you just heard in Solo de Concord. In fact, one of Hindemith's philosophies was Gebrauchsmusik, which means music for use. I'm sorry to my music history professors, my German is not perfect. But Gebrauchsmusik means it wasn't intended for a grand Carnegie Hall. Instead, it was for practical purposes, to perform for a small circle of similarly minded people like you guys, and thus directed towards amateurs like me. Now, if you're not a musical person and this doesn't resonate with you in any way, one of my friends on the swim team described this piece as a silent Bambi film. In the three movements, the first one, Bambi runs away. Then the second one, Bambi's mom dies. I'm sorry for the spoilers. And the third one, Bambi meets Thumper in his little Thumper movement where Bambi and his friends take on the world. So with whichever interpretation made more sense to you, here's Hindemith's exploration of the clarinet, his sonata for clarinet and piano. Yeah, so that was a Hindemith. Um, quite long. Thank you for bearing with me there. Um, so I'm about to, thanks for the applause, I appreciate it. Before I play my last piece, I have some people that I need to thank. First, to the MIT music faculty directly involved in the recital, Evan Ziporin, Jean and Marcus and David for accepting me to the program, Matt Shoemaker for working on my self-composed electronics piece, which we will debut one of these days, and the other professors who have taught me so much, Ron, Emily, and whoever I'm missing in this chat. Thank you so much to Yukiko, who was supposed to perform this live with me on piano, and she took on the incredible task to record a crazy hard piano accompaniment that you're about to hear. And of course, thank you to my wonderful friends on the swim team, Pi Phi, Mitso. You guys really hyped this thing up and you supported me all along the way. And special shout out to my swim coaches, Meg and James. I don't know where you are, but I hope you're here. Um, and finally, last but not least, Christian, my fabulous clarinet teacher, for being the reason that I'm doing this today and performing for you all. Christian, thank you so much for believing in me no matter what. Whether it was the first lesson that I came in puffing my cheeks with awful technique, or one of those lessons I'd sprinted back after midterm or after swim practice when I was just exhausted and defeated, to our most recent lesson in the sound check a couple hours ago, when I could tell that you were excited as I was to show off what we've been working on. Thank you so much. I'm really thankful that you've taken me on as your student the past 4 years. Thanks for shaping me into the musician I am today. And fingers crossed we get one more year together.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Christian.
You sound terrific.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you. So yeah, enough of the mushy gushy stuff. We're gonna move on to the very last piece. I'm gonna close the recital with a piece by Darius Milhaud. Milhaud is a French composer, and he really liked to play around with something called polytonality. So for my non-music friends, poly means many, and tonality you can think of as a fixed set of notes. So polytonality means you're kind of like crunching them and playing them at the same time. And I'm going to do a quick piano demo, but I can't bring my setup over. So the first thing I'm going to play is a C major scale, and then I'm going to play a D major scale, which are two separate tonalities, and then I'm going to play them together, and you're going to get a taste of what polytonality sounds like. I'll be right back. So thumbs up if you heard that. Yeah, okay, so obviously it's like really crunchy and kind of weird, but I really like it, so I'm gonna perform this. Milhaud was also influenced by jazz and Brazilian music, which means that this piece you're about to hear has lots of flair. The three movements, if you see in the program, are titled Very Rude, then Slow, and then Very Rude again. So thank you all for showing up today. It means so much to me you're here. If you want to stick around and chat afterwards, by all means, but I know you guys all have busy lives, so feel free to leave. So hope you enjoy Darius Milhaud's Sonatine for clarinet and piano played by the wonderful Yukiko. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by.